Hey everybody, welcome back to your Dawn of Autonomy podcast. I'm Dawn Zoldai, your host, CEO of P3 Tech Consulting and publisher at Autonomy Global. This is a month that we have dedicated to the theme of tech leaders. It's sponsored by True Weather Solutions, and if you missed Don Bershoff last week, go back and check that out on demand. Great show, all about weather. Today is all about AI, and we've got an amazing guest, Michael Mazur. He is the CEO of AI Clearing, and he's actually coming to us from Poland. It's great to see you, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, absolutely. And, just a short travel here. It's usually we're based in Austin, Texas, so a true US product. I'm excited. I mean, the autonomy, that's where what brings us the data to analyze with AI. So really happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent. And love that you guys are global, traveling around the world. Poland is near and dear to my heart. Maiden name Kopaczynski, by the way, fun fact.
Oh, wow.
Haven't been there for a number of years, but have a great colleague, Joanna Wazurek. She is out there, a Polish aviation attorney, one of our writers for Autonomy Global. But let's talk about you. So before we get into AI clearing and this company that you've built, tell us a little bit about your personal background.
So I studied business. I then joined pretty early consulting firms, traveled the world with technology consulting. I counted this that I worked in more than 40 countries globally. So
Wow.
a lot of Middle East, a lot of Europe, a lot of North America, of course, South America. Really great experience, and it allowed me to enter the AI world pretty early because the first projects in computer vision, which is part of AI, analyzing images or 3D models, we started, or I started in 2014. That was a time when, you may remember, we had this wild forest fires in California,
Yes.
and utility firms were looking for a solution to quickly analyze the state of their assets, or all the energy lines, poles, etc. Some of them were not inspected for over a decade or so. And I came up with an idea to bring drones into the place, so fly drones over this, thousands of miles of the assets, make pictures, and then use AI, build models in AI to analyze it. So instead of spending 6 months or so with large team of people looking at those pictures, we could do it in 2 weeks' time. And it was a success, and that's how my story with AI started. Somewhere in 2019, I decided that I have an idea, together with my business partner, Adam, who was also working with me in this AI team, and we initiated AI clearing in January 2020.
Wow. Okay. So you were really way ahead of your time, honestly. I mean, so you were saying 2014 with the fires, you were looking around and thinking, hey, drones can help in prevention and AI can help analyze that data. I mean, 2014 is 2 years in the United States before even Part 107 came out. And honestly, before people were even talking about AI. So that's quite spectacular. And then for you to launch your business in 2020, I mean, we all know, right? 2020 was the year that wasn't because of COVID. And so I launched my business P3 Tech in 2019, just a couple months before that all hit. So I know what it's like as an entrepreneur to launch something in the midst of that. And that was what, almost a 2 year, 1.5 year iteration. Unbelievable, like what you've been able to accomplish. So Michael, like what kind of inspired you? In other words, you've traveling around the world, in 40 different countries in the technology space. You see this problem and you decide, hey, this is a place where we can make a difference. Like what kind of, other than the fire itself, like how did you even come up with this idea?
I guess, I was always focused on emerging tech, and even as consultant, my responsibility was to bring emerging tech to, we call them asset-heavy industries, so utilities, gas and oil, transport infrastructure, and this idea of being able to analyze these huge, vast assets or pictures of assets in a very automated and quick way somehow talk to me. A number of my clients, or nearly all my clients, had army of people whose only role was to walk and look and check the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And as much as there are discussions about AI taking people's jobs, in the infrastructure and construction world, we in fact are lacking enough people because there is negative replacement of engineers. So for every 1,000 engineers retiring, there's only maybe 450 produced by our schools.
Wow.
So AI here it's not taking anyone's jobs. That's complete misunderstanding. AI is enabling us the construction and maintenance of all these assets.
Yeah, absolutely. So your company, you started it really in 2020 and today we're in 2026. How has it grown over time?
I think there were two periods of this growth. So 2020 until I would say 2023, we did our A round in October, was more kind of a scientific project. So we were gathering all the data we could, because imagine to build AI, to build AI modules, and we were pre-ChatGPT, we were pre-Claude, there was nothing. We had to,
Wow.
yes, that's our team, I think, but that's just part of the team. We had to build everything from the scratch. We had to find and employ AI scientists. By the way, the Polish connection, our R&D center is in Warsaw, Poland. We have an amazing talent here, but much more available or to be hired by small startup as we are
Yeah.
than in Silicon Valley. And so we have 58 scientists, developers, and engineers working for us in the office here. We started to understand that the first and most important thing to succeed is the data lake. Data lake, so collection of different pictures of the assets, of the materials, machinery, properly annotated, so labeled, so that every time when there is a picture of solar panel, it's annotated as solar panel. Whenever it's a wire, it's a wire. Whenever it's a trench, it's a trench. And there is nothing available on the internet. You cannot look for it like for cats and dogs pictures. There's
Right.
nothing available commercially, so we simply had to build our own. First, we started to pay from our own pocket to gather drone pictures from those sites, and then when more clients started to work with us, we were gathering. But still, we were trying to do a lot of things in different verticals, as we call it. So to have drone pictures of solar sites in Canada, in the US, in North, South, Middle East, in Europe, to capture different sun lightning, to capture different specific elements of those. And then we went to wind, to roads, to railway, to pipelines, to energy lines. So anything which is large and difficult to build, and we're collecting this data. And then after the A round, when Prudence Ventures, our lead investor from New York, decided to invest, they pushed us gently to become more commercially oriented. So they said, it's great you can do this different but slightly random projects. Could you choose one vertical, stay there for 12 months, and show how you can grow, how you can build the market share?
Yeah.
So we grew 7 times in the last 24 months in terms of the dynamics. We have, for last 18 months, we had 0 churn. Oh, that's Adam, my co-founder, and me on open our new office in Austin
I love
6
that.
months ago at the 6th Street. Very nice street. So we haven't lost any client over the last 18 months. Everyone sticks to us. About 70% of our growth is coming from expansion. So simply the current clients are putting more projects on our platform. And it seems that it's simply something which is responding to this need on the market, where we have growing growing demand for infrastructure projects, more projects in solar to supply energy to the data centers, more transmission projects to get cables from the solar farm to those data centers, more pipelines because data centers are also being supplied now with gas to generate electricity, more roads, obviously, etc. So there is more and more money on the market, if you like, but the supply of the engineers is just negative. So you have this scissors effect from macroeconomics, and we're able to fill this gap. So simply we allow our clients, no matter if they're general contractors, the builders, or asset owners, the utilities or gas and oil, etc., to simply build more and supervise more at the same or even better level of assurance with less people, with team. We're simply there to help build this country and other
Okay.
countries as well.
Oh, I love it. I want to talk about the challenges in building AI because you did this from scratch, right? Especially about in particular reading drone images. But before we do that, Michael, you said there was the point where your investors were like, "Hey, let's stick with one vertical, if you will. Let's give that a shot for 12 months and see how it goes." I heard you talk about enterprise because they wanted like more of a commercial, right, offering. I heard you talk about enterprise, in particular the energy sector. I heard construction. I don't know if in energy. So what was that kind of experiment from which you still wound up growing 7 times over, and maintaining all of your other clients?
Sure. So maybe let's start with what the platform does, because
Yeah,
I think
let's do that because
uh,
this is software, right? Is it software?
this software, this is a platform which you can open on your laptop, access to internet, and it shows you the map of your site in one each size of the pixels, so pretty accurate and pretty detailed. And on one side of the screen, you have this map of your site, like Google view of your site, and on the other side, you have the information derived from this picture. So simply, what the AI does when we get the drone picture from the site, and it's usually weekly or twice a week. Oh, exactly, that's a little bit how it looks like. The system is generating 3D model out of those pictures. I'm simplifying, so more technical audience would understand as orthophoto map and DTM, digital terrain model underneath, but let's call it 3D model. And then every pixel at this 3D model in 3D is allocated to different class of objects. So simply the system understands where the solar panel, how high is it, where's the concrete, where's the road, pavement, etc., etc. And then the system calculates everything. So counts how many panels were installed since the last inspection, how many miles of pipeline were put into the trench, and compares it with the design. We're integrated with probably 20 different standards, including Autodesk or Bentley software. So comparing what's built with the design and flagging any kind of discrepancies. This budget overruns, which I mentioned at the very beginning, which are huge in infrastructure construction. Most of them is coming from the fact that something was built in the wrong place and it needs to be demolished and built again. So the earlier we identify these cases, the less cost it takes. And then also we're integrated with the scheduling systems such as Oracle's Primavera, and the system is checking if all the tasks finalized, are in line with the schedule, are we delayed, and flagging this as well. And then populating the dashboard with the new data. So for average projects, it takes only 5 hours to go from capturing drone pictures, sending them to our cloud, until the information is ready. Something which, if you do it by hand, would take you a week or so, probably. So it's a great real-time advantage for the clients to understand what's going on their sites. And we need to remember these are large sites that can be 2 to 2 miles of solar farm, I don't know, 50 miles of energy transmission line, or even 20 miles of highway. And both actors on site, so the general contractor, the builder, and the asset owner, they would maybe have 10 people, 8 people there on site to supervise. So they maybe can see 5 to 10% monthly, whereas you have this monthly cadence of invoicing and being invoiced. So you should know what's going on there. But up to now, the key methods of really controlling or supervising those projects was a prayer. And of course, it's good to pray, but about 90% of those projects are delayed and over budget.
Yeah, I always say, hope is not a plan, nor is prayer. I didn't think about that, but from from weeks on end to 5 hours, I mean, that's significant in terms of not only time savings, but we all know time is money. And so that's unbelievable. And Michael, I think I heard you say basically you're almost, your software, but you're agnostic in terms of some of the other systems and integrations that, other, basically pieces of hardware or software that you can plug into.
Yeah, so we're can digest or connect with most of the systems available in the market. So whatever type of system client is using, and there are some specific systems like tiles used in pipeline construction. We can also tap into that. So you can use it on any kind of infrastructure and energy projects. We're not doing buildings, so that's the only exception. We're not focused on vertical. Simply, there is less value outside, visible from the drones, than inside. We are focused on outside. And now, because you asked what are the challenges in building such AI system
Yes.
which can deal. Well, I think the first we already discussed is to have a great data lake, and a great data lake would have multiple pictures of every type of objects or activities you can find on site. So for solar, it will be starting from the solar panels, piles put into the ground, racks, but also trenches, cables in trenches, also service roads, also fencing. So there's probably about 50 different classes of objects, as we call it, to train. So you need to make sure that on your data sets from the site, you capture all of them, you annotate, label all of them, and also you need to ensure that it's not one take, because it's not enough to have one take. You need to have at least 52 or 104 takes every week, or twice a week for the year, because there are different phases of construction. You have first civil works, then you have infrastructure, then you have electric, etc., etc. So
Yep.
in order to capture all of that, but this is just the first step, because then you need to start looking when you get to high accuracies. And a high accuracy, I mean over 80% of accuracy. You need to start looking for exceptions for events or activities or situations which obstructs accuracy of AI. As an example, we had one of our first solar projects in Alberta, Canada, that next to the Calgary city, and suddenly in October there was a snowfall. So
Ah,
instead of regular green grass below panels, it was white. And then our AI couldn't understand that, and accuracy, which was already at the 90s at that time, dropped to 50, because it
yeah.
was completely new background environment. We had a project in Extremadura, which is a very sunny region of Spain, where the sun was hitting so strongly to the panels that the reflection was also obstructing the AI, because AI was not associating it with any kind of reflection we had in our other projects. We had
Right.
a project in Saudi Arabia where the panels, before they are put on the racks on this steel frame, they should be piled next to it, to waiting for assembly, waiting for installation. And there was a project when the general contractor started to put single panel under the rack. So for our AI, it looked at it as a panel already installed at the rack.
Oh, because it was just sitting there on the ground.
It was sitting below, and the rack
Yep.
was just a frame, so
Right.
it could see. So we have to add, in this case, we added additional learning channel, as we call it, because the color, the image is RGB, 3 channels. So we added height as the learning channel. So our AI understands also now shape and the height of things. So you have such challenges, and you have to look for outliers, and you have to also have good clients in the new verticals who will agree to build the solution with you, because it's not that it can magically appear from nowhere. You have to first understand what are the objects, activities they're looking for, how to label them, and then gather the data lake, gather enough pictures to train the models. Even our labeling book for solar, for example, is 300 pages or 400 pages on how to label or not to label every of this, activity and materials.
Wow, that's incredible. So, learning by doing, learning as you go, that's quite amazing. So, the traditional way you talked about it, people walking the line or, people having to go into these locations and do everything manually or by hand or by eyeball. You train the AI to do all these things. But you also mentioned early on, I think something that in my brain triggered the word compliance. In other words, people are inspecting these things for a reason, right? Obviously to be safe, but there are requirements, whether, from whatever standards body or local governing body. In terms of training the AI, it sounds like you also had to input all of those kind of compliance requirements so that the AI data could be bumped up against that, if you will, to then provide some kind of actionable intelligence or analysis on the back end. Is that right?
That's correct. And it's not only this compliance, but also we merge whenever required AI and human. For example, if you have, let's stick to this solar farm example.
Sure.
There is certain information generated by AI, the progress of construction, so how much was delivered, which elements were installed, and also coherence with the design. But then you have a certain number of checks and tests, which, according to law, needs to be done in person with confirmation of check being done. That's before the handover, the commissioning of the assets to the owner. So our platform allows and supports this process. So you have, from one hand, information on our platform from the drones analyzed by AI, but then you can have, we have mobile apps for tablets. So the person doing these tests can see the whole design, the whole picture of the site, can see themselves a blue dot there,
Okay.
and can open the tests related to the asset they're standing next to, just fill the answer list, the punch list, so-called punch list, and then sign on the tablet, and that goes also to the system. So something which previously was done on paper or in some Excel files or who knows how, now are done fully in fully controlled environment, recorded in one place, and you can easily access it through our dashboard.
Okay, excellent. So, Michael, just as a practical matter, we talked about the growth of the business, the commercialization of it, all the different types of clients you service. As a practical matter, how do you get the drone data? In other words, do your clients, like let's just say an energy company, hypothetically, or as you mentioned, a solar company, um, do they have their own drone programs and then they just kind of work with you on a subscription? I assume you guys don't fly your own drones, that you just basically plug into whatever program or whatever hardware that a client would have.
Yeah, so we don't fly drones, we don't provide drones. We are purely AI platform, software platform. But I would say about 60%, maybe even 70% of our clients have drone programs. Some of them have we're thinking about drone programs. So once we start working together, they buy drone and train their pilots that have engineers on site, and they start flying. We're drone agnostic. There's unified type of files produced by drone cameras. So for the rest, the 30%, we have agreements, price list agreed with nationally present operators, and we just have them to sign with those operators. So it's pretty simple. I think it's no longer you have to pilot the drone. You just map the area and it flies itself. And also we observe growing number of clients using those drones in the box. There's a couple of providers, and as for medium or smaller size projects, it's a great solution. You just have the box connected to electricity, and a drone can fly even daily or twice a day, and send automatically the pictures to our cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you. Just recently, I attended the 10th annual Energy Drone Robotics Coalition Summit in Houston, Texas. And drone in a box, it's for sure a thing. People have adopted it. And to your point, Michael, I mean, you saw this coming. I think people have really moved past the hardware and sensors in some respect because there's like so many great drones, so many great sensors out there. It's 100% all about the data. So you're kind of hitting your stride with AI clearing, I think exactly at the right moment, for the kind of this pivot that we're seeing in the industry. So here's my question to you also, Michael. Like, so you mentioned the hundreds, probably tens of thousands really of images you have to train the data on. And it's even with the drone in a box, if they're doing these inspections, just say a couple times a week, click in how many images. I mean, that is like a data deluge, right? Like, how does AI clearing, how does your software kind of cut through, if you will, the chaos of that, the quantities of data to laser in and say, this is the thing you really need to look at.
Well, what my co-founder Adam always says that it's 250,000 engineering hours put into that. So
Wow.
it's a really complex system because we tend to simplify. If we think about AI systems, we think about AI model. AI model is just very core, but a part of the much wider system, which is there to check if the pictures were done correctly or
Right.
the geotags are correct, to generate this 3D model to then AI, but then to generate all these different reports. And yes, these are huge, huge data sets. Sometimes investors, we talk with investors, of course, as a venture-backed startup, ask me why 6 hours, why not 5 minutes? And I say because it's terabytes of data. It's imagine 2 to 2 miles large site, and imagine going through this manually, like on Google Earth, or 10
Right.
miles of highway. Please scroll 10 miles of highway. It take you weeks. So yes, it's very efficient. I can tell you that our data lake, if you imagine a mile stretch land, mile wide stretch of land, and it will take you from San Francisco to New York, back to San Francisco, and back halfway. That's the size of our data lake today.
Oh my gosh.
Over 6,000 drone inspections, or even more, and many millions of objects annotated. And to be honest, we re-annotated the entire data lake probably like 6 times because we learn more and more about the industry. Our clients want us to check and see more, like HSC or any other kind of activities. So we do it again. And that's complex. That's true.
Yeah, it sounds like there's never a dull moment over there with all the engineers you have on board. Now, the company's main product, I think it's called Core, CORE. Is that right? Is that an acronym? And if so, what does that stand for?
I know it's as simple as that. It's a core of our platform. It's a dashboard you
Okay,
can
got
open on
it.
your laptop. So it's core, and the part which is working on site is called on site. The part which is enabling those tests, manual tests, is called Verify Pro. So we're quite practical here, and calling the names as they are, the
Well,
things
I,
as
I
they are.
like that. Calling it what it is always important. You have people like make up these weird fancy names and they're like, what even is, you go to a show and there's a booth and there's a name and there's no explanation. You're like, what do you do? That's not good marketing, but that's good that you do that. So over the past year, what have you really been focused on in terms of what's new and how you're growing the business?
So we we started with solar, and there was strong commercial focus, but also it enabled us to improve the product. And back then, 2.5 years ago, we had one, maybe two clients in solar. Today, 8 out of top 10 general contractors in solar in the US are using our platform already on the entire portfolio of projects or starting to put more projects. And we have pretty the same at the owner's side of the game. 12 or 14 months ago, we entered energy transmission vertical as the second one. Energy transmission, so energy lines and pipelines. In the first quarter of this year, this vertical already generated 25% of our revenue, so
Wow.
growing pretty fast. And we have, well, again, I cannot name the clients, but we have the largest operators and builders in this country. And 6 months ago, we entered the roads and railway. Railway is more for Europe, but roads already, I think 6 clients from this sector on the platform, growing fast. So it's been a great year in terms of the growth into new verticals. In terms of the functionalities, we are making sure that we have all the small functionalities which are important for the construction. For example, of pipeline, very important thing is to understand where are the wells, and we are always on site, traveling to our client site. We want our team to be excited about construction. Even our engineers or developers are traveling from time to time, and talking with the teams, talking with the clients is the best way to get ideas what to add. So for this gas pipelines, we added welding books. For solar, we added thermal analytics. We added pack track, which is reading barcodes on the panel, so that it's not only information about the progress, but also information about the assets which are essential for the clients. What we started to do, very, very exciting, it's our agentic set of agentic solutions called Clara, Clearing Clara. For now, it's a voice interface which allows you to conversate with data. So you can ask Clara by tapping or just talking, hey Clara, on the mile 75 of this highway construction, tell me, is there any issue, and what was the progress? And Clara will review all the data we have in the dashboards and tell you directly. It's important because in construction and infrastructure, usually those projects are outside large cities. So the teams are spending a lot of time traveling in their tracks. So checking something on your mobile is not really safe, while conversating with Clara is a great way to get an update while traveling to your site.
Well, and hands-free, right? I mean, if you can just talk to it and not have to type something or look down, all of this contributes to safety and also time savings. So if you were to, make the pitch to, one of these stakeholders to whom you often, who you often work with, any of these sectors, what would you say is like the biggest return on investment from leveraging your AI in their projects?
So there are different areas. I think the most important is you're freeing up the time of your superintendents. So your superintendent doesn't have to check 40,000 panels installed if they are installed, but can focus on 400 where there are some issues, or the same for pipelines or for roads. And that's enormous. We hear from the teams that we're freeing up to 2 hours a day on site. And these people are not working 8 hours. They're working long days, sitting there, separated from their families. So freeing up 2 hours, it's an amazing thing.
Right.
Then you have the very clear benefit of avoiding reworks, because you simply identify those issues earlier. So imagine large solar site, and you're missing 2 piles in the middle because someone had a lunch break and forgotten to get back to this row. But now you have all the piles around and all the solar panels installed. You cannot hand over the asset because it's not working, because it's like with Christmas tree, two lights are not connected.
Yep.
And to maneuver to get your piling machine to this place, you have to remove all the piles and panels you installed all around it. So
Mm.
it's anywhere from 400,000 to $2 million to get it. It's a delay. It's all of that.
Wow.
We identify our system is identifying this on the spot, so it's a real money. Then there is a very well, I don't want to emphasize it because we really have it pretty rarely, but sometimes some of the subcontractors are too optimistic or counting twice things they delivered. So the system also verifies what was delivered, how many machineries, etc. So you can be sure you're paying for something what was really delivered. And then the last, in kinds of incidents, we had these tornadoes down in Texas last year. So at least three of our clients could claim really quickly and get the full amount, thanks to the fact that they had evidence in our system about things which happened. But I think that the most important is this support. The team on the side is getting superintendents, project managers being able to focus on really important things instead of walking and just ticking some completed panels.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. As you kind of look ahead, what do you see from the company over the next year or so?
Well, I think we will be expanding into new verticals. I cannot tell which ones because it's for now we keep it confidential, but at least three new verticals over the next 18 months, which is very exciting because we will have to learn how they work, what are the standards, what are the small solutions we can add to our AI. And we'll be also working on enhancing Clara. So Clara now is just a conversational agent, but there is a lot of other data besides field information from drones, which we can cross-reference. You usually have thousands of PDFs with agreements, addendums, notes, technical specifications, warranties. Some of them less important, some of them important, and not always everyone on the project is aware or checked. So Clara will be able to tell you, hey, Dan, it's 8 a.m., time to wake up. I guess you're waking up earlier, 8 a.m. Time to wake up. And by the way, on the project next to Seattle, the solar one, there was Michael and Adam Corporation installing panels on your site yesterday, and it was 40 degrees. And according to the specs, you cannot install them if it's below 45 degrees. Should I draft an email to the legal? Should I call the provider? What do we should do? And this is a real support, little assistant on site helping you to control and make sure your asset is safe, no matter if you're builder or the owner. You want the asset to be safely delivered at the time. In solar, you can pay penalties because you blocked access to the network, and you should deliver electricity. So if you're not delivering at the date, you'll pay penalties, and
Mm.
also you may lose your tax credits. So it's very finance oriented support to those projects, helping them to be delivered on quality and on time.
Well,
Also with the Clara
it,
extension.
I was going to say, Michael, that's a great example. I mean, even something as simple as, say, one of the panels is broken, and you find that through, it's documented in the data. To even be able to query Clara and say, is this still covered under warranty? I mean,
Of
just
course.
what I mean, something as simple, because like, where do you even keep those, right? Like something as simple as that could take somebody like hours and hours to look through the records to find and then kind of apply that to the scenario.
It gets even better. Imagine you're standing next to this broken panel,
Yeah,
and the choreographers will know which panel you're standing in front of, so you don't have to count, check, or whatever, because you're geolocated through your
right.
phone. And you can just say, make a picture. Hey, that's a picture. Please prepare the warranty claim. and that's it. Or of course, if it's not due, Clara will tell you, but it will automate everything for you. A process
Wow.
which usually would require you to count panels or check the serial numbers, go to the office, check again, open number of documents, write emails, etc. Here it's done,
Yeah.
and you can finish earlier.
No, this is great. You're giving me flashbacks. I went to CES this year at a Consumer Electronics Show, and Lenovo did the keynote in the Sphere. And they were talking about the super AI that they're building. And they also, I forget the name of their agentic assistant, but you could wear it like on a pendant and all of this other stuff. It's all connected to everything. It was a little bit over the top, honestly, but the applications you're talking about, I could see being so incredibly value on the work site. So I love what you're doing. And obviously it's going well because like you said, your client base keeps growing. You're opening up 3 new channels, possibly over the next year. So that's absolutely terrific. We have one final picture I want to pop up, and I love this one. It's got a little puppy in it. We'll go ahead. So this, you said this is your co-founder?
That's Adam's puppy. Adam, yes, my co-founder and CTO in this company. By the way,
Okay.
we're friends since college, so
Oh, that's so cool. I
really
love that. That you guys can not only maintain your friendship, but you've built this amazing company together that's truly global. Now, your headquarters in Austin, you said that was about a year ago you opened that up. Tell everybody a little bit about, where that is, how they can learn more, how they can reach you.
absolutely. So in fact, it's a new office. We had smaller one before that was open at the 6th Street, next to famous Driscoll Hotel. The Austinians will know. So just come and knock our doors, or simply get our web page, and we'll be more than happy to showcase the system, explain how it's working, and connect with you. You can also visit our R&D center in Warsaw, Poland, if you're European. It's located in the city center, so downtown, pretty accessible from everywhere.
It's so beautiful there. That is the one of the places that I did get to visit when I was in the United States Air Force. We did our tour out there, loved it. So, in terms of maybe, kind of expos or shows, do you have anything kind of coming down the pike in the next couple of months? Maybe somebody can meet up with you in person, Michael?
We'll be at pretty every solar and pipeline shows over the next couple of months. So I don't even have to name it. You simply
Very
go there
good. Yeah.
and you'll meet me or our great team on our booth.
Well, very good. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to kind of go where the clients are. A lot of shows are, focused on maybe a type of technology, whether, geospatial or, drones. And there's a lot of business to business connections that are made there. But going to the places where your clients live and dwell, and the shows that are their shows, I think is the right way to go in many respects. So good on you for figuring that out early.
Absolutely. And for us, we also, as I said, we have most of our team traveling to job sites so they can understand why this freeing up time is important, why safety is important to really live the construction life, not just see it through Google or Zoom.
Yeah, that's incredibly important. Honestly, I feel like that's incredibly important in any industry or any service that you're providing to people, to really get out from behind your desk and understand what the problem set is. And obviously, you guys have taken years to do that. As you said, a data lake that's as long as I think you said New York City to LA and about halfway back again, a mile wide in between. So pretty impressive. Really looking forward to hearing more and learning more about you guys and what you're doing, especially as you kind of open up additional lines of effort in the coming months. So it was really awesome to get to know you a little bit, Michael, and learn about AI clearing and everything you're doing. Any final words of wisdom for the group out there, and any other ways they can reach you?
Words of wisdom. I think trust AI, at least trusted AI. AI clearing can be surely a trusted AI. So you can also reach me on my email m@aaclearing, and I'll respond to that. And Dom, thank you for having me. An amazing
Absolutely.
experience, and great to talk to you.
Oh, it's great to talk to you, and thank you so much for joining us from overseas. I know lots of travel going on, and so thank you so much. Thank you, everybody else out there. That is all she wrote for now. We are out here.